Hello and welcome. My name is CYC89 and I present to you Dauntless. Okay, so this is a game I played back in May 31st. Now, I'm gonna just make a little note here. I may ramble on in this video because I'm trying to continue from my previous thoughts about this game, both the things that I like and I didn't like. And back then I made like a list of notes of what to talk about. But this time I just want to have a more open thought process about this, like just express my opinions as I go. However, that's one of the more common things to get me to ramble. So I just want to throw that out there first. Anyway, one of the first things I want to mention is that this game was made by Phoenix Labs. On my previous video I stated how it was made by Epic Games, which is wrong. Those guys are just the publisher, which is different from the developer, which is Phoenix Labs. I still don't know why they went with a Fortnite like artistic style, but I guess that's off the point. I still like how colorful this game is and all of its detail and its crazy designs when it comes to the armor and the behemoths. In fact, that's one of the plus sides I like about this game. But I'll get to that later. So I just guess I want to state what has changed between my opinion from May 31st, roughly from the month of May, up until now on the month of August. And it's quite a lot, so let's see on how many things I can think about. Okay, so one of the changes that that I really like about this game, and I'm giggling because I've done this part so many times, but as I said before, I start rambling. I really want to keep this short. I just want to applaud Phoenix Labs for making one of their variants look different. It's not a color swap anymore. It's an actual change. The designs look different. Sure, they act the same and they're supposed to be the same monster, just different. But not just do they aesthetically look different, they have different moves. It's like a Mario and Luigi kind of situation. Imagine if Mario was the same, but then when you play as Luigi, it's still Mario, but it's just green. That's what they had with this particular monster before. There was a black variant, which is the original, and then there was this white variant, which is the ice version. They both look exactly the same. But now they look really different. Their 3D models is drastically changed. Like, still it's the same like feathery design. It's the same 3D model, but the design on the face is different. They have different features. I didn't play this game before, so I don't know how much of their moves is also different. But it's different enough for to separate that. Oh, this is just a clone character with a different color swap. There's so many changes to this monster now that it's basically become its own thing. It's no longer a clone character, basically. Kind of like an Echo Fighter from Smash Bros. Ultimate. But what I'm trying to like give them thumbs up or kudos is that I don't often see video games do that. Like, just take example Final Fantasy. Like, you fight this boss and then you fight the boss again, but there's a color swap, and basically it's just to signify, oh, it's the same type of boss, but now it's harder and maybe has a couple of different moves. But to go the extra mile to make them look different, even just by adding something as small as just more feathers on its face and a bigger crown on its head, it's just all that you need. And that's not something I see other developers do. Like, to have already made the design and then release an update to further improve that design. So Square artistically looks better now. I unfortunately I still don't know if they also improve upon his moves to be more different, but either way, it's just something I want to mention. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so one thing I just want to mention is regarding the cells. There's well, basically customization of the armor. There's still no way to preset that. What I mean by that is that, for example, I'm fighting this guy, so I'm wearing the optimal armor to fight it. But then if I get into another fight where I have to fight a fire behemoth, I'm gonna have to switch my entire gear up. And although that's really not something I can't do, it's just a little annoying that I have to go to this this slow manual process of setting everything up just so I can fight one guy. Now, again, it's just a tiny inconvenience, because as you can notice right now from my armor, I don't really have anything that protects me against ice. It's a mixed armor set. I believe I even have a weakness to ice right now, which is probably why I take a lot of damage from it. But I choose this mixed armor set because it gives me all the skills I like, and it gives me a good defense. Because upgrading the armor to be plus 10 or even plus anything beyond is quite expensive. It does require a lot of resources, which again inspires grinding. But constantly be switching armor and my cells, which is what I need to do the most damage, is annoying. So I went for this mix set. At the moment I have two. This one I'm trying it out because it gives me plus 6 overpowered, which basically allows you to do more damage the moment you stagger a behemoth. And it's very noticeable how much damage you do. So I've been running that for a while. But having these mixed sets does have a disadvantage because you have to be good at the game. And why is that? Because you may either end up finding a monster that you're weak against. For example, I think I'm weak against thunder right now. So if I fight any thunder-based behemoths, if before I didn't struggle at all, now I may struggle if I'm not careful because their attacks will do more damage to me. Or I could fight a monster that I have an advantage to because their attacks will do less damage, and I will do good. But sometimes especially if you're not a pro expert player, because I do consider myself just like above average casual player. So I understand the fundamentals of this game, but for me to react frame perfect on dodging every move and doing everything specifically to ensure 100% victory, I'm not that good. So so for me, having a armor set that would protect me in the most optimal way against this monster would be better. However, I'm also limiting myself on a higher damage output. I could be doing better, but for that I have to take a risk. I know I'm straying off a bit, but I still kind of wonder why they haven't added mixed sets. It's a minor detail because they have at least added the option for you to remove cells from your armor. Because before that didn't exist. There was no way for you to remove a particular cell from your armor. You could swap it out, like put one cell into another piece of armor. It would give you a prompt like, hey, this if you want to equip this, it's in another armor, do you want to switch? And then you say yes. And you can keep doing this to the point where there's only one cell stuck to one armor piece. I used to do that, but now that's not necessary because they finally added the option to remove it. I'm just like curious, why haven't they added the option to just have presets? Now, part of me wonders if this is maybe tied to the whole server connection, because if you ever like begin the quest, try clicking your loadout and try changing it, and you'll notice that your options or settings are literally loading in. Even the preferences that you selected with the color dye, it's slowly loading in. It takes a couple of seconds actually before you're allowed to change, because if you try to change anything while your stuff is loading in, it resets you and it basically ignores your input until it's done. A little annoying, but again, nothing too bad. 'Cause honestly, just wait a couple seconds, and it's not like people are throwing angry messages at you for taking 1 minute of their time for you to be ready. And some people don't ready and stay AFK and don't do anything. I got on that a couple times where people just don't do anything, just stand there. And I hope they do add that feature in the future, where if it notices that you're standing still for, let's say, a minute, it kicks you off the quest. Because even though ironic, because I stand there, I was replying to a message. But I didn't want that, like, for AFK players to be kicked out, because they're just standing there not doing anything, and the other players have to like finish the quest because this guy's just not doing anything. But that's a thing that's in Monster Hunter 2. You can just literally stay still in one spot and nothing's gonna happen to you. It sucks. Because it just screws the other player. Thankfully, I do have the option of blocking them, which I've been doing, because I really don't want AFK players to be randomly showing up in my quests. I'm also curious how well the block system works. There is still a very low chance I'm gonna meet up with players I blocked anyway, because I'm pretty sure there's a good chunk of amount of people playing this game right now, so I don't really have to worry about running across the same toxic player ever again. But still, just in case, I only block people who are completely AFK, who never showed up to do a single point of damage to the behemoth. God, this irks me. But again, I still don't know. I even wonder at this point if they're even gonna add presets anymore. Again, it's been a year since this game has been out, and they have been adding things to this game, changing how things look, adding options that didn't used to be there before. But seeing them not add presets, I'm starting to wonder if it's really a thing they can't do, or if it's a technical issue regarding the server that I was mentioning. Maybe they just want to avoid cheaters, or I don't know, people modifying their presets on their computer with a hacking device, or with a hacking device, and just giving them an unfair advantage on the game. Again, I haven't seen any of that in this game. I'm pretty sure even if there were presets, people would find a way to cheat the game on the PC. But I haven't noticed that. This has crossplay, so I should encounter a PC player who's cheating, but it's never happened. I'm glad for that, actually. As much as I like, because it happened to be before in Monster Hunter, where this guy just came in, whacked the monster once, and it died. It's funny, but it's not something I would want to happen often, because it takes the joy away from the game, obviously. But I've never come across that in Dauntless. I never played a game where it's noticeable I'm playing with a cheater, because they have unrealistic stats or damage output or anything like that. But I don't know. It's just one of those things I find weird. Other than that, I'm running out of things to talk about here. I'm still enjoying the game. I still like the level of difficulty they're managing, because there's like the lesser behemoths than the regular behemoths, then the stronger variant behemoths. They even got these cool names to them, like Frostbite or Bloodfire, those cool things. And I like how this guy died. In fact, this is one of those variants I'm talking about. Moonweaver Strike. There's Lesser Strike, which is the normal. Then Moonweaver Strike, which is a tougher difficulty. And then the same Moonweaver Strike, but a heroic difficulty, which he hits a lot harder. And I noticed there's Heroic Plus, which I don't know if the behemoths are any stronger, like they hit even harder, but I do know that you can only revive once, which again, it's not really all that hard, because in Monster Hunter, again, if you die 3 times, it doesn't matter who, the quest ends. Here, you still have a chance to be revived, and if the team is doing really badly, it's gonna reach 100% danger zone, and you're all gonna die anyway. So, difficulty-wise, it's still okay. And in Monster Hunter, there's a lot of monsters that can kill you in one hit, and this game has that same issue. There are monsters that can kill you in one hit, especially if you reach 100% danger zone. So I really can't complain too much about that. Like, it's just a very pet peeve of mine. I don't like when an enemy can one-shot you. It just feels unfair. But at the same time, maybe it's because my armor's not fully upgraded. I'm not wearing armor that protects against that particular element, so it makes sense why I'm being one-shotted. But it's still not something I like. But I'm not gonna complain about that. It's just a personal gripe. Because if you look up YouTube, if I was a better player, or get good, I could speedrun a monster by myself, never getting down, easy peasy. So it's just a personal gripe because I'm a above average casual player. Anyway, so still in the end, Dauntless is a very good free to play game, and if you're waiting for Iceborne on Monster Hunter, this is a good game to spend your time on. Again, I'm glad for Phoenix Labs to be actively trying to do something different. They even added trials to this game, which I'm pretty sure it's enemies that are more difficult than the Heroic Plus version that I'm seeing here. So it's nice. Again, nice that they're adding more content for players. They're making changes to existing behemoths. As I stated before, they made Shriek and Scrab look different, which is the owl. From regular owl to snow owl, they look different. That again, I just want to really applaud that change. They have a variety of difficulties of their behemoths to keep things different. But again, I thought I was done with the game, but then I started meeting all these heroic versions of the monsters and all these more difficult variants. I finally got to the point that I can fight the final two monsters, but they're really difficult. Again, I need to prepare. I just need to get better armor, well, upgraded armor, and a weapon that's best suited for those guys. I'll get there. But in the meantime, I am having fun. Oh, actually, that's the last thing I could talk about before this video ends. You might be noticing that I'm using the hammer. When in the previous video I was saying, man, I don't like the hammer. Well, in Monster Hunter. But in Dauntless, it's actually making me like the hammer. It's interesting. So in the end, all of the weapons I end up using and liking. In fact, I'm finding myself using less of the chain blades and the war pike, which is the lance kind of thing. Now I'm seeing myself using the hammer, the axe, and the repeaters a lot more. The hammer, because it just destroys this guy. Look at that. I'm stunning him constantly. I'm gonna keep doing it. So there's definitely behemoths that I'm benefiting more using these other weapons than the ones I was using before. Because on this rock guy, I was using the chain blades, because I could move fast and I could dodge all of these like rock hits. But using the hammer, not just do I do a ton of damage, but I break its rock protection, which helps everyone else do their damage on this guy. So, and on the repeaters, I was really struggling fighting against Helion, which is like this fire lizard kind of guy. But using the repeaters or the guns, it just made things 10 times easier for me, and I can beat the guy now with a party. I still haven't tried it on my own. I'm pretty sure I can beat him by myself now using repeaters. So, in a way, the game has made me explore other options of using other weapons and rewarding me by actually doing better. And I like that. So, props to Dauntless for actually making me use other weapons and rewarding me for doing so, because they're very effective. And now I have a armor set that accommodates for this weapon that I have, which is kind of why I want presets. But either way, let's finish out this video. Once again, I've changes from my past thoughts to now. It's still a really good game, really worth giving it a chance if you like this type of gameplay. So please download Dauntless if you want to and give it a shot. You're gonna have lots of fun, and there's a lot of content for you to be busy for quite a while. Well, that's all for now. Thank you all for listening, and until next time, take care and have fun playing. Lates.